Good morning, welcome to the Fishing with Steve podcast. I'm here in Ballylee Marina on the banks of Lough Ree to meet today's guest, predator angler and fishing guide Chris Scally.
It's helped me through the years. It's something that can really help people through their lives. Bad days and bad days and bad days and bad days. And then all of a sudden, bang, it all comes together for you. Shook my hand and he's like, yes, yes. And he's like, I told the other boys to come and they never come. Oh, I don't care. Yeah, you know.
Chris.
Yeah. How are you doing, Steve?
Good to see you.
It's good to see you, man. How are you keeping?
Oh, good.
You ready for a day out, yeah?
I'm getting there, all right.
Right, Steve, so I just want to give you a quick safety briefing on the boat. I think this is very important for people who want to get into boating, yeah, and want to buy a boat. And it's not just all about jumping onto it and getting out as quick as you can. There is a safety aspect to it. So, as you can see, we're both wearing life jackets. These are automatic life jackets. Hit the water, they should go off. They're all certified, they're all tested, all new gas and everything. If they don't go off, you have a tag here. Hold that tag, yeah? Okay, yeah. Hold that tag. The canister in them is like 20 quid. It's nothing to save a life, yeah? Then we have a fire extinguisher here, okay? Obviously we have a petrol tank here, so we need to have some type of an extinguisher on the boat. And it happens up the front as well. We have spare petrol, a small tank of petrol. We don't want to be out in the middle of a lake. The next thing the engine cuts out and you have no way of getting home, yeah? Another thing we have here is a throw bag. This thing is like €40, yeah? What it does is it's very compact, so it sits anywhere on your boat. If there is an incident where you go in, okay, I don't want to be coming right beside you with a boat with an engine and hit you, whatever. What I can do is, there's a handle in here, I grab this handle, fire it out to you, it sits in the water, you grab the rope and we pull you in, okay? They're things that we don't want to be doing, but it's just a quick insight into the safety features that you need if you want to try and do something like this, you know. That's kind of it, yeah? We'll go fishing now, yeah?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, ready to rock, yeah?
Listen, Chris, thanks for joining us today on the Fishing for Steve podcast. This is actually going to be the first podcast of a series. So
yeah,
I know we've been talking. I know we've been talking about nearly a year. We've been talking online, trying to get out and getting things out. So between one thing and another, but finally we're out and we're on the boat. So again, yeah, thanks for joining us. So listen, we all know as fishermen, as anglers, we're all obsessed with this game, and the obsession has to start somewhere. Yeah. For you, where did it start?
So I grew up in a small little village, and you had two options. We grew up beside the river. It was either fish or go to the bog for the summer. So I decided to fish, and I just fell in love with it. I loved it. I've been doing it since I'm about 12 years of age, and yeah, it's just that it's hard to describe to people that are not into it. Like it's that feeling of catching a fish and the feeling of a float dropping or a lure being taken, and it's just the excitement of it, you know. It's also really good that, I suppose, in the world we live in today, where there's a lot of talk about mental health and things like that, and I suppose it helps. It's helped me through the years. It's something that can really help people through their lives. But look at this, man. Saturday morning out here in this. It's lovely, like, it's peaceful, it's quiet, having a bit of crack, you know what I mean? It's better than lying on the couch having a hangover anyways, that's for sure, isn't it?
I'll tell you this, so when you started off when you're 12-year-old, was it like most people's journeys? Was it like small roach and stuff in the local canal?
Yes, roach and perch on the River Innie. I grew up beside the River Innie, so it was roach and perch. And then one day I was actually fishing for a roach, little float, you know, and I thought it was a great lad. And a pike actually took the roach on the way in. It was probably about 7 or 8 pounds, yeah? And I screamed. I didn't know what to do. I had somebody fish with me that was more experienced, thank God. And I just kind of fell in love with pike fishing after that. Just the excitement of it and the fear of them. Like, I suppose when you catch a pike, he's a very daunting thing to touch if he's a big one, you know? So that fear and that, like, the whole excitement of it kind of, as the pun says, got me hooked.
And was it the mitts of the pike? Like, you know, we've all heard the mitts of the things like, oh, the freshwater sharks, and, you know, you had their teeth and the stuff like that. Was it?
I suppose it was that. It was just the first time you get, I suppose, a double. And then you want to get a 20. And then you want to get a 30. And if you're lucky enough to get a 30, you want to go higher and higher. It's that whole buzz of always kind of competing with yourself, you know. That's what I love about it. And just the pike fishing to me is you never know what's on the end of a hook, you know.
You're talking there about the weights. So like I had a 15-year break from fishing and I used to fish for pike in the early 2000s. And when I was fishing for them, the big thing was the weights, you know, I used to weigh them and stuff like that. But when I came back to fishing after a break and I started back pike fishing, I noticed that a lot of people are more kind of interested in the length and the measurements of the pike. Yeah. So when did that change, or what was the sort of?
To be honest with you, we have a lot of very, very good European anglers, and I think that they've introduced the measuring system, and as well as that too, I think the measuring system is kind of less stressful on the fish as well. So if you think about it, they used to have, they still do this type of thing where they have blue barrels and boats and bring fish in to weigh them. You're stressing out a fish, but with a measuring system, I suppose, if you're doing a competition or something like that, measure it, picture, back in the water. You know, it's less stressful on the fish, and it's kind of more humane, I think, than dragging a fish halfway into the lake to get it measured in a competition or something like that. And sometimes I think on a boat, it's very hard to weigh a fish. If you have a rough day or going from, say, you could be a pound or two out where you can get an accurate measurement, you know. So that's something that I suppose myself, I'm still kind of coming to terms with, because I always love weighing a fish, especially a big fish. And I'd more so like weighing the fish and getting the weight of it than the length of it, if I'm honest. But now I do both, you know. Yeah. It's a preference, really. It's a preference, really, you know. Yeah. You'd never see the older anglers. You'd never see them measuring the trout. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It'd be always weighing the fish, like, you know.
I predominantly do bank fishing, and on my background is carp as well as things like that. So I go, us carp anglers are fascinated and obsessed with the weight and ounces and the ounces and half an ounce and everything else. So it's kind of when I came back to the pike fishing, that was something that has changed. But like talking about that and the stress on the fish and you know, trying to keep less stress on the fish, I would have originally packed away my pike rods. As I said, I only do dead baiting and on the bank, and I had packed away my pike rods in March. And it was always kind of, whether it be right or wrong, it was always kind of like, okay, well, March is the end of the pike season as such. Nothing pike season, but we're out here in May. This is probably the latest I've ever fished for pike in my life. So like, you know, how do you like stay out, or what do you think about that, or what's your thoughts on that?
I suppose it depends on conditions. Like it's not warm. We haven't had any warm weather this year really at all. Maybe 1 or 2 days, you know. We've had a lot of rainwater all winter. The water temperature is still not really that high, you know. And I stop fishing for pike when the weather gets really hot. That if we start getting consistently 16, 18, 20 degree days, I stop for the summer, and I do a bit of perch fishing or a bit of trout fishing or whatever. And genuinely in October I go back to it then, you know. And I don't do any guiding for pike or anything like that in the summer months. I'd more so do it then. Back in October then, you know. September, October, give them a break for a while. But this time of the year can be really, really productive for pike fishermen, because the fish are just after spawning. And then straight after that, you have the roach spawning. So the pike are on a feeding frenzy, okay? And dead baits, I kind of tend to stop fishing with dead baits this time of the year, because dead baits are for slow, kind of inactive fish that are heavy. And if you have a dead bait out in this time of the year when the fish are more active, you tend to get a deep hook. They'll go for the roach and they'll swallow it. And hopefully if we get a fish today, you'll see how deep they can swallow a big lure like. And that's why I tend to stay away from the dead baits, because you have less chance of a deep hook with an active fish with a lure than you do with a dead bait. You know what I mean? So lure fishing is probably safer this time of the year and can be more productive. Now, we might give the deadbait rods a try today because, like I said, the water temperature is not that warm. The fish could still be, like, you know, a bit groggy after spawning. So, well, genuinely, you are right. The season is kind of from October to March, but I like stretching it from kind of say September to maybe end of May, and then that's me done for the summer, you know. And then it's...
And do you know, or do you hear of a lot of people that do fish right the way through the year, do fish the Junes and Julys?
A lot of guides don't start fishing till the summertime. That's their preference. I suppose it's a lot nicer for clients too, to be out in a boat in the summertime than it is in the middle of winter freezing, you know. A lot of lure fishermen only kind of start fishing for pike in the springtime through the summer. Look, it's preference. It's just my personal preference. I suppose it's the way I was always taught how to do it. So I'm sticking to my guns on that one, you know. A lot of people wouldn't pike fish this time of the year either. Probably think that I'm doing something wrong. It's all the preference of the angler, if I'm honest with you. But genuinely for me, when the oxygen levels start dropping in the water and we see the water dropping and heating up really quick, then I stop fishing for pike, yeah. Yeah.
And when you talk about oxygen levels, is that kind of, how does that affect the pike when you do catch them?
Well, so when you catch a pike, it's a decent, you know, if it's a decent fish, they give up a big fight, yeah? So it's like you running down a road and you're gasping for air. It's the same with a fish. So if there's less oxygen in the water, it will take longer for the fish to revive itself. And that's when you have a problem. You could have a pike that you could let go, it could be okay, the oxygen levels could be really low, and you come in that evening, you could see the pike belly up, you know. So that's kind of what I mean by the oxygen levels in the water. In wintertime, the oxygen levels, you have rain, the water's cold, the oxygen levels tend to be way up than the summertime where it's warmer and the water's dropping. We don't get as much fresh water through the rivers and lakes, like. So that's kind of the...
And so if you were, you know, you were saying there when you were a kid and you were fishing for the roach and you hooked the pike, and that for you, the excitement and everything that you felt, and you know that got you hooked, as we all say. That got us hooked into the fishing. Like, what advice, what would be the kind of main piece of advice you give to someone that was only starting out beginning pike fishing, or was going to actually go and target pike as a species? Well,
I can actually tell you a little story about that. So down at the local river here, I was fishing one day, and of course I've saved over the years. I'm lucky enough to buy some nice gear, and there was a kid down there, and he had this, I'd say a rod about worth €40, and a little spinner on it. And he come up and he was looking at all my stuff, and I love that. I think it's great that to see younger generations coming up and be interested in, you know, not sitting in their rooms playing the Xbox, and get out and do something, get some fresh air in their lungs and learn a bit about nature, you know. And so I was talking to him anyways. We were having a little conversation, and I was like, look, if your mum and dad ever want to bring you fishing, I said, I have a boat and you can come with me or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. And next thing, he was screaming. And I looked behind him, his rod was bent in half. He was after catching a 16-pound pike on a tiny little spinner. I couldn't believe it. Now, this is where the problem lies, okay? He was, I'm not sure what age he was. I suppose he was about 11 or 12. And he started crying, okay? So he was watching YouTube videos and wanted to catch a fish or whatever, but actually didn't know what to do when he caught the fish. And I had to go up, and he had no net, no hooking gear, nothing like this. I had to go up, unhook the fish from him. And I said, do you know, like, well done. He's like, and he was like panicking. He said, I didn't think I'd catch it. And I'm like, why are you fishing, you know? So if I wasn't there, the likelihood of that fish surviving is he probably had no chance. The young lad probably would have left it on. No, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. He wants to go out and do something, but he probably would have been out there and the fish flapping around on the grass and dead fish, or the hooks left in it, or he'd throw his rod in or whatever. So what advice I would give, and I was lucky enough that I had it when I was growing up, I had an uncle that was big into the pike fishing, is go out with a guide like myself. And this isn't a promotion or anything. This is actually the real deal, because we can show you how to properly handle. You don't have to go with a guide. You can go with somebody that pike fishes, like yourself. Somebody goes with you. But learn properly how to handle a pike, learn properly how to unhook the fish. That's the most important thing. Learn about the tools used to unhook the fish, learn how the pike gets deeply hooked, how you handle things like that. These are all things that will, number one, if it's not done correctly, will kill a fish. And number two, you could get hurt. Like, pike is a big, big fish. When you get a big specimen pike, their gill rakers can cut you. They have teeth, you know. They can harm themselves, harm you. You need to go with somebody that knows what they're doing and practice it. And then that's it. You're free. You can do whatever you want. But when you get confident of handling the fish, then it's time you can start looking at it. But I do advise anybody, for their own safety and the welfare of the fish, to always go with a competent person, either a guide, and go for a few trips and learn about it, or even just somebody like yourself that's making content and they know that you're an angler, to go with you and just spend a day with you and see what you do, you know. But definitely that is a huge thing that we need to emphasise as anglers, that competency on fishing has to go together when handling pike. Like, even a perch like has a dorsal fin in its back that can stick you and do a bit of harm, like, you know. Yeah. It's something, and as well as that, what if you're unhooking a big pike, and next thing he spins and bang, you get a treble in your hand, like, you know. There are things you need to know how to deal with, like, you know.
So, and you said there as well, you know, we go back to your childhood and you're catching that pike, that 6 or 7 pounder, which probably back then was massive for you.
Huge.
You know, same as myself, you know.
Thought was a Guinness World Record.
Is there any kind of one captures or stuff like that stands out to you, for your own personal captures that stand out?
I suppose any time I catch a good fish is a good capture. Is there one in particular? There is one in particular, but it's not actually a pike. Myself and a friend of mine, and he'll be watching this. He'll know who he is. We done a predator competition. It's like a predator battle. Wasn't the predator battle. It was a smaller version. Okay, and we had to catch a trout, perch, and 3 pike. And if you got your 3 pike, the scores added up to an extra metre or whatever, and it was great fun. We had our perch, we were trolling like this, and we threw out with trout lure, yeah? And we were confident we were going to catch our pike, so if we got a trout, it was brilliant. The rod went off, we had a 33 centimetre trout, okay? We had it on the boat, but the trout started going a bit crazy on the boat, yeah? Now, this thing was this size, yeah? You have never seen 2 pike anglers that are used to handling big fish lie on this fish and jump around the boat after this fish, because this was a point in the competition, yeah? It was absolutely, I was on top of it, saying, you know, get the camera. And that was a memorable one, because when we released the trout, and we were sat back going, what are we doing? Like, it's just how it gets into you, you know? Yeah. It's a competition, it's a fish that you need, that's a very memorable catch for me. I suppose one thing that's always memorable for me about fishing is the laughs and the crack you have with your mates, like, you know. Yeah, I've caught a couple of really big fish, like. Biggest was 26 pound 4, so that's the biggest to date. She was 113 centimetres. That was a memorable one, yeah. That was definitely a memorable one. But then any pike in that range, like, is memorable, you know. But that moment in that competition was definitely one to remember, because it was like 2 school kids trying to handle this fish this size. Like, it was brilliant. It was a good crack. Yeah. And do you like the competition side of things, the pike fishing or pleasure? Which would you prefer, pleasure or kind of competition? I'm going to be honest with you, Steve, and I actually am a vice chairman of a club, and we run the King of the Lakes competition in September. A huge competition. We get It's 11,500 in prize money. We get 160 anglers coming to it. Great competition. If I'm going to be honest with you here, and I might get a bit of backlash for this, I don't genuinely fish a lot of competitions, because I don't like the kind of a lot of lads take it very seriously. And when we're running our competition, I'm trying to emphasise having the crack. We're out here having a bit of fun. We all want to go home in the evening to our families. We don't take it too seriously. Like, enjoy it, you know. there's a lot of input on social media which I don't agree on, of people slating other people in competitions and that type of stuff. And it kind of pushed me away from it, if I'm honest. And I probably will get a bit of backlash over that, but I'm sitting here being honest about this, and that's what a podcast's all about, isn't it? Being honest and letting your feelings known. So it kind of turned me away from competitions. It really did. There was, you know, like just people, nearly like bullying going on with some anglers, and I didn't agree with it. So I tend to do a few a year, you know, because the reason I tend to do them is the buzz. You're sitting there with 30 or 40 boats or 80 boats, and you're getting ready to tear off out a lake, and there's waves everywhere, and it's madness. It's the buzz of doing it. And if one of these rods went off now, it's like, yes, we're in, you know. In a competition, it's a completely different buzz. It's like your heart pounds, your hand shake. It's like a competition is that feeling you get when you catch your first ever fish. On every time a rod goes, that's the feeling you get in a competition. It's just what's been bought with the competitions now that I don't like. I think people forget where their roots are, where they've come from, and I think to forget what fishing is all about. And bringing this like right, we're in, yeah. Okay. Now, Steve, what I'll get you to do is, if you can, please, I'll get you to bring in that other rod. Ah, yeah, it's not a big one, but it's a fish. Yeah. That's what you call a hungry pike, yeah? Look. Now, genuinely what I do is, with the small fish, Steve, I don't genuinely net them or bring them into the boat because it causes a bit of hassle. There we are, he's gone, yeah. Gone.
And you nailed that on a lure that's nearly the same size as him.
Nearly the same size as him, yeah. Nearly the same size as him. Unbelievable, isn't it? They're such a predatory fish, like it's amazing, like. And then what jacks tend to do is they tend to wreck everything on you when you catch them as well. A bit of patience is all that's needed. Anyways, first fish.
First fish. Yeah, so before we were excitingly interrupted there by that jack.
Yeah.
little one. Vicious take on a big lure for the small pike.
I mean, that could have been a 20 there, you know, you never know. You never know, it's great.
Yeah, so we're talking about competitions and why, and you said, you know, you didn't like the kind of the atmosphere and stuff by some anglers in the competitions. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the competition you were talking about that you're interested in.
Yeah, so we're holding a competition down here in Lanesborough Ballyleague in the end of September, and it's called the King of the Lakes. So absolutely phenomenal competition, you know. It was originally ran by the Camlin Anglers. They were a club, and the Angling Hub here took it over. And last year we broke all records. We had 83 boats. We got 11,500 in prize money. And whatever money we take into the competition goes straight out as prize money. We don't take any profits or anything like that. It goes straight out into the other anglers. As well as that, we also have a lot of sponsored prizes. So we have some tackle shops that sponsor us prizes as well, and we get sponsored by Roscommon County Council, Board Fáilte, Inland Fisheries. Inland Fisheries, the Civil Defence and Waterways Ireland do huge work with us as well. And we also have a Garda boat that comes with us to patrol the waters when we're fishing. We have like 4 or 5 Civil Defence boats. We have a Garda boat. We have 2 Inland Fisheries boats. And we have the biggest sector of any competition fished in Ireland. So we start from a bridge in Tarmanbarry down to Shannon to the bypass bridge in Athlone. I think it's about 45 kilometres long of a fishing sector. It's the biggest sector of any competition in Ireland. So that's why we have so much health and safety involved in it, because it's a big lake and it can get rough and windy in windy days, you know. But and we have a free barbecue every night as well. And yeah, one thing we want to try and emphasise into that competition though is that it's for the crack. You know, come and have the crack and get on with everyone and enjoy it and go home happy. It doesn't matter if you finish first or you finish last. Doesn't matter. Whoever catches, whoever wins, shake their hand, congratulate them. That's the type of atmosphere that we want to bring to it, you know.
So like for me as well, like as I've probably told you before, and you might have seen in some of the videos, I say I go fishing from my headspace. Like I high pressure work during the week. Yeah. If I can get out on the weekend just to clear my head, you know, it's good for my health. It's the best type of, everybody talks about this mindfulness stuff. To me, fishing is the best mindfulness thing, because you're in the moment, you're fishing with the things. It clears the head for me anyway. So, but that's what I'm getting from you. Is it the same sort of thing for you? That?
Oh, the exact same. Yeah, I work a fairly high pressure job as well, and it's good physical work, you know. And yeah, just at the end of the week, it's just get out, man, and just clear your head. It's one of the best. You know, I always say to people, before you go to a doctor, try fishing. You know, because it's less harm in your body than tablets, isn't it? You know, and it's a little bit more expensive than a doctor, though. I will admit that. But yeah, it's a huge thing that I want to try and emphasise with people, is that mental health and fishing should go hand in hand together, like. And even if you don't catch it, just get out, come out with someone like me or go with someone like you. And I think when people tend to be in an environment like this, quiet and peaceful, they tend to like maybe open up and tell you something they're struggling with. Could be anything small, you know. Look, geez, man, money's getting tight. I have a bill that needs paid, and you're like, yeah, I'm the same. And you know, genuinely, you can have something in common with somebody then, you know, and it just I think it's good for your health, but it also opens a conversation because of the environment you're in, that nice, quiet, peaceful environment, you know, which I think is in this day and age is something we should emphasise on, and kids as well. I think it's a phenomenal sport for kids to get into, because like I know in my house there's a lot of tablets and phones always on, you know, and I actually brought one of the kids out fishing with me last weekend, and he caught his first pike. And he knew I was going today, and he's like, can I come with you? He's like, I can't today, buddy, you know. So now he's, you know, and he's asking me, you know, like, is there any chance to get a fishing rod? Like, and I'm like, yeah, you know, that's how it all starts, like, and hopefully it'll be less and less involved in sitting at a screen and more out doing something like this, you know.
Yeah, it's very good for them. It's brilliant. Yeah. So we're out in the middle of Lough Ree. It's a massive piece of water, probably the biggest expanse of water I've ever fished.
Yeah.
How would you go about tackling, or where do you, like, if I rocked up on here today, I predominantly fish from the bank. Oh, we're in again.
We're in again, yeah. That's a better fish. That's a better fish. Yeah, that's a better fish, I think. I'll get you to bring in the other rod. Yeah. Yeah, this is a better fish, Steve.
Stuff.
To get this one.
Oh, you're grand.
Huh?
You're grand.
It's not a 20.
I don't care who catches it. Feels a better fish, yeah?
Yeah, feels a better fish, yeah. Oh, it's gone.
It's gone.
Gone. Huh? It's gone.
All part and parcel of it.
That's the joys of it too, isn't it?
Right at the boat.
Right at the boat, yeah. Oh, what do we do, huh? Try and get another one.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Thinks it's still hooked. Yeah. Another pike jumping there. Did you see that?
Yeah. It was a double anyway.
That was a double, yeah. That's a pity now. That's a pity, yeah. But what that is though is that's raw. That's like what actually happens. Like, and a lot of people watch videos, and I'm guilty of it too. Like, I always watch Fly versus Jerk on YouTube, and these big anglers, these huge boats, and sitting there drooling, thinking, "Oh man, one day," you know. But like, that's actually what happens. You know, you have bad days and bad days and bad days and bad days, and then all of a sudden, bang! It all comes together for you, and then. You know, there's lots of nights where I've gone home and sat down with the missus and said, boat's going on Dundee, I have enough. Do you know what I mean? It's just not worth it. Yeah. I'm like, I have enough, I can't do it. You know, bringing customers out, you have a bad day. Even myself going out and having a bad day. But then you just get that one day where you go home smiling and it makes everything worth it. It's the cruelest sport that you can do. Like, I think we were talking about mental health, but when you get into it, for your emotions, sometimes it can be bad too. Like,
I find even when I have a blank that it's a learning day. Like, I always learn something. I always take something away from where you go, okay, I've blanked today, but I know that,
every day is a school day.
Yeah, you know, that conditions might have changed. Now I know that lake fish is a certain way.
This is the Lough Ree HDS9, okay? It's a fish finder, so as you can see here, this is chirp mode, okay? So it's hard to distinguish sometimes between debris and what's actually fish, but these red kind of balls are more than likely fish because it reacts off the swim bladder to a fish and air. So it's hitting something solid and sending it back to the transducer. We also have side scanning here. This scans both sides of the boat, okay, within a 100-foot radius. You can see a rock there. That's how clear this is. It's an unbelievable piece of kit, you know. Rocks here. These could probably be fish here, small fish. This is the line of our boat, yeah. Then we go in here. This is our charts. This is Novonics. This is a system you can buy with this Lough Ree. And if we zoom out here, we have every river and lake in Ireland and the UK charted out and mapped on this. This is a massive, massive piece of equipment. Forget your engine, forget anything. This is a huge piece of equipment for safety because it gives you a depth of lakes. It gives you all the points where there's dangers. It gives you everything. It's a real, if somebody wants to get into guiding, this is a necessity to spend money on something like this. All right, we'll drop the trolling motor and we'll do a bit of fishing, yeah? It's a weird take.
Yeah.
That could be a trout. No, it's not.
No.
That's actually not a bad fish, I don't think.
No, it feels a good fish, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good fish, yeah?
Yeah, it's a decent fish, yeah.
Now, it's hard to know when you're trolling. I have the net here ready for you, You do what you have.
Yeah, I just want to get down that way.
Yeah. You do what you can do.
Well, that's not bad.
Right, give it line, give it some line.
Yeah.
Oh, one in the boat.
One in the boat.
Yes.
Get in.
Yes. It's only a hook, yeah?
Yep. That's great.
Right.
Sound.
If you get problems like that, just cut the hooks out of the fish. Don't damage the fish. All right, it's only a hook.
There we go.
There, Steve. Nice fish.
First fish to the boat. Third take of the day.
Third take and first fish.
Yeah, nice double.
Yeah. Not
Happy with that.
Fish.
Happy with that. Cheers for that, Chris.
No bother, man. Don't let her back. We'll throw her up this side. Now, you know the crack, man. Just grab her by the back. On the tail. Let her revive herself. Oh.
Whoa.
No hassle there, yeah?
Yeah, savage. But yeah, so what we were talking about there just before we were really interrupted by that big double again, was, you know, this sort of size of body of water. As I said, I fish predominantly from the bank, and when I come to water, I have a little bait boat and I have me a little deeper and that sort of stuff, and I'm able to do scans and find stuff. Where would you even start on a water this size?
Well, to be honest with you, it's not that much different than fishing any venue. You look for structure and features. Now, obviously, we have the fish finders, the maps. You look for drop-offs. You'd look for like maybe a body of 40 foot of water, and then all of a sudden you see all around that water is 20 foot. So you're like, maybe I might check that area out, you know. Same as what we're doing here now. Sometimes in this time of the year, you're better off fishing in shallower water, you know, close to structure, close to reed beds, close to the edges, you know. And then in winter time, you know, when the roach starts shoaling up, bait fish start shoaling up, look for your deep holes and maybe fish around the deep holes, you know. One thing that I think I have learned from fishing, and it's genuinely only in the last couple of years I've learned this, is that when you have your bait fish gathered, say in a hole in the middle of a lake, the pike aren't really in the middle of them. They're kind of outside them. And I think if you fish on the outside and imitate your lures, or put a dead bait on the outside of them shoals, it kind of imitates fish leaving the shoal by accident, because they shoal up, one of the reasons they shoal up is for protection, and then that's when the pike strikes. So I genuinely think if you kind of use your initiative and look for the deeper holes, but look for the shallow areas around them deeper holes, I think it can be productive. Now, saying that, I can tell you that might work for another 2 weeks. It's fishing is fishing. Yeah. We could go out here today. We could, like, what are we out here? An hour? We've had 2 takes. You know, I could be out here for 2 weeks of 2 Saturdays, 2 weekends, and not get a bite. It's fishing. You know, you use all this initiative. You try your best to do all this whatever way you can, and adapt to the climate, adapt to the weather, adapt to whatever you can. It's just kind of initiative, I think.
Yeah. And is that what you set out in the morning time, like this morning? So when your mindset this morning, how are you thinking about coming and tackling it today? Like, looking at conditions, talk me through that. Like,
okay, so I think today is absolutely perfect. It's not too warm. What is it? It's about 12 degrees, is it? It's cloud cover, small ripple on the water. Obviously, you want to be comfortable on the boat. You don't want anything too mental on the boat, you know. Small little bit of a ripple on the water. And yeah. So my tactic this morning was stick to shallow water first, because I know roach are spawning at the minute. So yeah, stick to this. The water's heating up a bit. Just go into the shallow water, try for the pike first with smaller lures, and then maybe in a little while we might go out to bigger water and try and see, is there shoals out there, and we might just fish around them with bigger lures and see what happens then, you know. The game plan is try everything. Try everything to get a fish. That's my game plan all the time. I'll start off where I think I should start off, and I'll work my way, and then I might come back to here at the end of the day, you know. It all depends as well. Like, this is obviously working what we're doing here after getting 2 takes, but it could go dead here now very soon, and we could have to move on, you know. Yeah. I suppose, yeah, always have a game plan, but always be willing to change your game plan. Always be willing to adapt to whatever is coming at you, like. And I think adaptation and fishing is and adapting to like the weather and things like that. I think that's where you will be more productive, I think.
So, Chris, talk me through your kind of journey. So we're here on your boat. It's a great bit of kit. I mean, it's well kit out. You've got all the equipment. Like, I mean, you've got this trawling motor that you have, the electrical one. You have the controller there in your hand, you know.
If people are watching me and they're thinking, why is he changing the stations of TV? It's not. I'm controlling this.
And like this like a serious amount of money being spent on this, and as a business thing. But like, talk me through your journey to get to this point. When did you kind of decide that you were going to get down this road?
Yeah, so I was not any different to any other person. I was, you know, fishing and looking at these boats flying up and down the water, and always thinking, geez, I'd love to own one of them, you know. And I was lucky enough to get the opportunity, and to be honest with you, it took a lot of hard work, Steve. I gave up 2 years of my life and worked every weekend. I was in construction. I was doing whatever I could, got a few pounds together. You know, a bit of help as well from people. It was great. Yeah, just went and took the plunge and bought it, and it's not easy. If people think that they're going to just buy a boat and get in it and drive it every day, it's not how it works. I have a little thing that I like to call the boat ferries. So whenever you go onto the boat, something always happens that it breaks. there's actually a saying that boat stands for borrow another 1,000. So yeah, yeah, it just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and then the guidance side of it. Well, from everything I've been talking to in this podcast about showing people how good it can be for you and the excitement and this buzz, I wanted to bring that to other people. I wanted to show people what it was about. So that's when I started to get into the guiding, because I'm like, yeah, I'd love to bring people out, and the guiding is great, and it's to me, yes, there is obviously a money side of it involved in trying to pay for the boat. But the other side of it is bringing people out and listening to the stories. Man, the stories I hear in this boat is unbelievable. If this boat could talk, I'm telling you, it's crazy about the old timers coming out and what they've done and what they've seen. And these, like, if I caught a pike like some of them old timers caught, I wouldn't get them in the boat, like, you know. It's brilliant, like, and the friends you make as well. The friends you make. And something that I've noticed the last while, I suppose, on Facebook is that I seem to, this boat and fish seem to be popping up in a lot of profile pictures, which is brilliant. I love that. And I love the excitement about it as well. And
you get as excited about catching fish for other people as you do your own.
Last week, you know, he'll know this podcast and see him. I had a man on the boat with me, and very experienced angler, you know, and fishes Lough Ree as well. Came out with me, and his biggest pike was 18 pound. We were fishing for 2 hours. He had a 103 24-pound pike, massive pike. She was so broad across her back. I've huge fish. I honestly, when it came to the net first, I thought I was like, holy shit, that's a 30, you know. And it wasn't though, because when you picked, she was short, you know, yeah, he jumped up and down on the top of the boat, and yes, and I'm like, yeah, he fucking shook my hand, and he's like, yes, and he's like, I told the other boys to come and they never come. Oh, I don't care. Yeah, you know, like seeing that, and in a man that's, you know, is a good angler, you know, is experienced in angling, seeing that is brilliant for me, like, you know. One instance I had on the boat here was I had a man out that lost his wife with cancer a couple of months beforehand, and he caught a good sized fish, and as we were coming in the end of the day, he kind of teared up and he went, I give up on everything until I came out here with you today. And he says, thanks so much. And now he's a regular customer of mine. Now, I'm not saying that I done anything there. I didn't do it's the fishing that done it for him. But to be able to have that effect on somebody is very humbling. So these are the Savage Gear 32 centimetre line through roach. Savage Gear actually took these off the market a couple of years ago and recently just bought them out again. And as you can see by this one, it's ripped to bits. You can see all the teeth marks on it everywhere, look, from big pike. Unbelievable lure. I know anglers don't like letting out their secrets, but it's no secret that works, because any tackle shop that stocked them, they were off the shelves within a week or two. So this is, red is left, green is right. Yeah. What you do is you just clip this planer board on like this, a little clip on the back, that clips onto the line. Then you have a Scotty clip here. This is a quick release clip too, because when the pressure comes on of a fish, this will actually slide back down the line and just let you play the fish. So you just let that out there. Give it some line, let it off. And the planer board acts like that, nice and gently put it in the rod holder. You don't want it to clip off after all that work. The planer board brings it out from the boat, so you're covering more water. You can let that out as much as you want. We can put a rod inside that on a planer board as well. You can cover 40 foot of water if you want. So that's the whole idea then. Serious bit of kit. Grab it. Okay. I don't think this is small.
No, that's a good fish.
Yeah, keep the rod down in the water.
Yeah.
Keep the rod down in the water, okay? You need to keep the rod down in the water, stop the fish open, keep the pressure on it. Okay, don't panic, you know what you're doing. This is what you do, man. This is what you do.
Oh. It's a double anyway, I think.
Yeah. Let her go, let her go.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's gone.
That's a good fish.
Get in the net.
That's a good fish.
Another double. Yeah, it's in.
What a day. What a day. I'm bringing you all the fucking time. That's brilliant.
It's second pike to the boat, 4th take of the day. Another double, another little cracker.
Some condition, aren't they?
Unbelievable.
Lovely fish.
Lovely fish.
Lovely
I think
fish.
this fishing in May thing.
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it?
It's not too bad at all.
Yeah. Pike, just as you can see by her though, they're just not as full, you know. Yeah. But yeah, definitely on the lures in May does work, yeah. But
excellent stuff. Let's get her back.
Let's get her back, man. Yeah, she's slippery. I don't think she will.
Oh, there you go.
She doesn't want to hang around.
She didn't want to hang around, no.
That's it. Well done, man.
Yes, another double. And I did notice you were talking about Facebook there, and that's where I seen you first of all. I mean, and we got to introduce each other. And as I said, we're trying for the last year, messages back and forward saying, "Oh, we should get out, and it's always trying to get out, and everybody's busy. Yeah. I did notice on Facebook you brought it. Was it an American guy you came out for us?
That's right. Yeah. Andy and Shelby. Right. Yeah. So that was an interesting one. He found me on there's an Irish Angling website. So there's a lad that does the social media, and that's Shane. Shane contacted me one day as I was putting pictures up, you know, and he said, "I'd like to, you know, put up a story about you and put some pictures up." And I was like, "Yeah, great, you know." So I'm kind of thinking, this is great. Next thing I got this American number texting me, "We're coming to Ireland, we want to come fishing with you." And I'm like, "All right, wow." I was like, "Where'd you hear from me?" Irish Angling. I'm like, "Sound." I suppose I'm kind of a bit old school. I'm a bit naive to these things.
Yeah. You're international now.
Well, I wouldn't say that. But yeah, it's becoming good, you know. But yeah, I bought him out, and he was from I can't remember the part of America he was from, but anyways, he does ice fishing, and they cut a little hole in the ice like a foot wide, you know, and he caught this small fish, and he's like, "Oh, can I have a picture?" And I'm like, "I don't know, buddy, if you want a picture with that, you know." And I'm like, no, you know what, this is his holiday. Of course he wants a picture. I mean, yeah, of course, you know. And second cast on the dead bait, 21.4 £. Yeah. And you want to see him, like, he lost his life when he seen that fish. He told me that, what was he said to me? I was a hero. I'm sitting there going, "Buddy, I'm from the middle of Longford, like, I'm no hero. I just helped you do a bit of fishing there, you know." But yeah, he's like, I made all these dreams come true. I was his hero. He's like, "I've been dreaming about wild Irish pike. I've never seen." He goes, "I don't believe all that stuff you see on YouTube and pictures." He goes, "Here's one. I've caught one." And I'm like, yeah, you happy?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm happy." Yeah, so yeah, he texts me regularly, you know. He goes, "Can't wait to see you again." It might be a year or two, obviously, with working him, but he's definitely coming again. And yeah, that's another experience where you're like, job done, you know.
And talk me through a typical day when you come out guiding. When you're guiding somebody, like what happens on a typical day of guiding?
So typical days. So my typical day is I get up very early to pack some lunches, and yeah, make sure the boat is clean and tidy, and you know, people enjoy their day. You know, at the end of the day, I'm providing a service. You know, I want people to enjoy that service. You meet me at about 8:45. We're on Ree today because of the weather is suitable for Ree. I have different venues I pick to the conditions. So I have other, but most venues are within 20 minutes of this area, you know. Yeah, you meet me at about 8:45. We do a quick little safety brief, and I show you around the boat. We stick on your life jackets. We get out. Today we're trawling. Wintertime we're dead baiting. Then we can go casting in some rivers. You know, it depends. Like, that's a typical day. And yeah, you sit there, you enjoy yourself, make you a cup of tea. We'll have a sandwich. Hopefully catch a few fish. Stop fishing then about 4 o'clock. But genuinely, what I do is, if lads are travelling a long distance and you know, the fishing is good. I tend to stay out a little bit longer with them. You know, there's it's at the end of the day, yes, it's a business I'm trying to create, but I'm still an angler, so that last cast is always going to last a bit longer, and I'm guilty of that even when I'm guiding. One thing I will say that I found it very hard to do when I'm guiding is when a rod goes off, sit back and let someone else get it, as you see there. I think you were meant to get the second one.
It's all good, it's all good.
And then that was something that I had to control. I'd be like, oh, yeah, you get that. Yeah, that was something that was hard, because at the end of the day, I'm an angler. I am an angler, like this is my passion. And this is just to try and give people an experience that I hope that I can give them, you know?
Yeah. And so if someone wanted to come out with you and wanted to go on to go, how do they get in touch with you, or how do they contact you?
So if you go onto my Facebook page, is Fishtails, yeah? I think it's Fishtails 2022 you put in and you'll see it. It's a red fish with white writing. And
we'll stick it up on the thing like that. The link in the description. Yeah.
Well, what happens is there's some American company that does fish fingers that's called Fishtails, and so that keeps coming up instead of me. So I kind of have to do the link and all that. And yeah, you can contact me on the page, you can phone me, you can WhatsApp me, you can send me an email. Anyway, all you can contact me. Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll stick up your contact details in the description, and so anyone that wants to come out with you and have a day out with you can get you in contact there.
Yeah, and anybody with any experience is welcome. You know, if you never fished before, you're welcome. That's what I'm here for. You know, this isn't about, oh, I can't do that because I've never been fishing. Come out and give it a go. See what you think, yeah?
Right. Well, I've never been out fishing. I've never done trawling, never been out on the boat before. So today is my first day as well, doing this sort of stuff, you know. As I said, I predominantly out and fish from the bank. So I'm enjoying it so far. We've had the 2 takes, and hopefully we might get a few more.
Hopefully we'll get one in the boat, yeah.
So listen, it's been brilliant talking to you. Thanks for coming on the podcast. We finally got out and had a chat and did a bit of fishing. But yeah, really enjoyed it. And thanks for giving us some insight.
Yeah, no problem, man.
So that's it. Session done and dusted. Big thanks to Chris. It was a great day. We had 4 runs in total. 2 to the boat, 2 doubles. Dropped the double at the boat earlier on, and then 1 small jack. So yeah, really enjoyed today. For those of you who would like to come out and try a day with Chris on his boat, where the day is fishing and guiding, all the details, his contact details are below in the description. Alright, so just want to say big thanks to him. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, tie lines.